Hey, this is Pretty Kitty. Welcome back to my channel. This video is for day 19 of Vlogmas. I wanted to share with you one of the scariest things about commissions. No, it's not pricing your work. It's not starting the drawing or the commission. It's not even trying to find a client in the first place. It doesn't even contain the actual doing of the commission. It's, wait for it, contracts. I will say, always, always, always use a contract when being commissioned. This is the safest way to protect the client and the artist. I actually just started implementing a contract, I believe this year, in the beginning of 2017. And I gotta say, it helped me out significantly when working with others. Now, I haven't been blessed with the opportunity of going to court or using this document legally, but using a contract is the clearest way to get everyone's point across. This isn't just for you, this is for your client too. For example, if they want a certain thing a certain way, it's always nice to have that just written in clear English or whatever mother tongue you may have, and have it right then and there for you so you can actually refer back to it and it's completely clear as day. Everybody knows what's up. Nobody's going to be sprung up with any surprises or anything crazy like that. They can be scary to introduce, I know, but that's okay. There's no need for the walls of legal speak, so long as you have something in writing or in type that both sides understand, and here's the thing, consent to, you should be fine. If a potential client runs away at the mention of a terms of service or contract, they probably aren't someone you should work with in the first place. And yes, this goes for artists too. So how did I get a contract in the first place? Well, for me, when I was on For Affinity, I follow a lot of artists. And when I follow a lot of artists, I do a little bit of digging. I used other people's terms of services and I modified it to my own needs. I split and I spliced them until I could work with it on my own. The second thing I did was I Googled artist contracts or illustration contracts. That came up with a plethora of ideas and different things for me to take from, to use, because there's a couple of websites that actually have free artist contracts and free illustration contracts that you can use and modify for your own use. But the biggest thing that helped me out extremely was I partnered with a legal team at my local university. They had a law program and I worked with a team of students throughout the school year, and they crafted a beautiful 8-page contract for me to pick and choose what I wanted. For example, I could retain certain rights or I could completely sell them outright. But I ended up shortening it and I placed it on my website. If you hop on prettykittycommissions.com/terms of service, you'll be able to find my terms of service that I personally use for all of my commissions that are non-commercial. So what goes into a contract or a terms of service? For me, my terms of service is my contract. When someone fills out that commission application, they automatically agree to my terms of service that's listed underneath. That is the first thing that is on my website. There's a couple of definitions in there. So for example, there might be some words that you don't really use in everyday language, like deliverables. I don't use that nearly as often as it's listed on my terms of service. So I have a clear-cut thing about definitions. I have it in separate little sections, and this is what my legal team wrote for me, and it was all for free. Now, I would definitely suggest you taking a look at any local universities in your area, especially if they have a law program, because legal students definitely need to have that sort of contract writing and in their curriculum. And if that's the case, then reach out to them and see if you can get any sort of legal advice or some sort of baby's first terms of service or baby's first contract. Working with my group was actually pretty insane. It was pretty fun. It didn't take a lot of time. It was mostly a lot of emailing back and forth. And for the most part, we had to meet up maybe 3 times in that school year. Wasn't anything crazy. it was really fun, and it was able to help them hopefully get a good grade, and it was able to land me with a wonderful contract that I can use for almost any instance, and I can edit it to my own scenario. For example, on section 4, which states accreditation and promotions, it clearly states that I retain the right to reproduce, publish, and display the final art in portfolios, websites, and galleries, design periodicals, and other media if I so choose so. I also retain the right to use the final art to sell as prints or to use as advertisement of my own work. That right there is clear, concise, easy to read. That also tells the client that yes, I may use that to sell prints. For me personally, I would talk to the client first, or I would talk to the client afterwards and ask them if they're totally okay with it. And if they are, that's awesome. If they're not, that's fine. I got paid for the work and that's it. Advertisements of my work, absolutely I will. Portfolio websites, you betcha. Galleries, you betcha. Design periodicals, other media. I have to be careful about that for me because it's somebody else's character, depending on what I'm working on. Well, I had a client that wasn't so kosher with that. I was working on a trading card for a trading card game, and the client did not want me to sell prints or, do things like that. And I was okay with that. So when I give a person or I give a client my terms of service, I always ask them, are you okay with these? And is there anything you want to talk about? Because contracts aren't always set in stone. They're only set in stone when someone signs it. So if someone's not okay with me publishing the final artwork just yet, then they tell me about it. There was also a time where I had my contract and my client had their contract, and we literally smushed them together. It's a little extra work when you're using a contract, but it's something that is clear, it's concise, it helps a lot. There's another part where there's changes. I had a problem with some clients wanting a substantial amount of changes, and they wanted me to redraw things. They wanted me to do repaints. Sometimes it was a disaster. So now I only allow 3 instances where changes may be requested: during a thumbnail phase, the sketch phase, and the flat color phase. So in conclusion, I believe contracts are very, very important. Even if that means having a terms of service on your website or your community page or your Facebook page, something in writing to point to them, to say, please read this before we continue on doing anything else commission-based. That shows your client that yes, you are a serious artist and that you do take this seriously as a job. So that is all I have for you today. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments or concerns. Shoot that right down in the comment section. The last few videos I had covered some pretty kitty quick tips on how to best handle your commissions. So please check that out. Make sure you guys hit subscribe, and I will check you guys later. Have a pretty kitty kind of day and take care.